So I'm sure you've seen this. What's your reaction to the government of Ghana's preparation ahead of a possible evacuation?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. You recall that last week we had this discussion, and my argument was that evacuation is welcoming. However, it should not be for free. So I'm not surprised that the Ghanaian government has taken the decision to evacuate Ghanaians all over the world, but with a cost. If we want to put this discussion in a proper context, then we probably have to look at other countries that have also started their evacuation. Let's look at the global statistics. So far, the US has evacuated over 72,000 people worldwide. India has just launched the Vande Bharat mission. This mission is expected to evacuate over 200,000 people across the world. Okay. And if successful, this mission will be the greatest rescue mission ever after the Gulf War, where they evacuated 170,000 people from Kuwait. So it is a welcoming news. However, I think that the Ghanaian government must add some human face in this entire process. When I say human face, I mean that Ghanaian students out there should not be asked to bear the cost, the Ghanaian student. And in the case of Ghanaians in the UK, I'm happy you have the letter here. The Ghanaians in the UK and the US, the Ghanaian government can assist them on humanitarian grounds. I must say, for as a matter of fact, that there's no legal obligation on government to evacuate Ghanaians back to Ghana for free. There's no legal obligation. But on humanitarian grounds, there are some categories of Ghanaians out there that have to be looked out for. So for Ghanaians in the US who had traveled on F1J1, the F1J1 visa holders are students who are in the US, who are Ghanaians. If you know the US terrain very well, there are categories of visas. So the A1, A2 for government officials, B1, B2 for those who have gone for conference, medicals, the F1, J1 for students. So the Ghana government can consider those on the F1, J1 visa category. And if the government take the decision to evacuate those on the F1, J1 visa category, then government by necessary implication must add those who are also on F2 visa categories. The F2 are the dependents, are those who are depending on the F1, J1 visa category holders. So I think that it's a welcoming news, except the government must add some humanitarian face to the entire process. So that students must be brought back home for free. And more so because now, for example, the US and the UK have declared unemployment benefit for its citizens. Ghanaians out there who are working, who are schooling and working at the same time, will no longer have access to work. If you are aware, students in the US are allowed to work for 20 hours a week. Now, because of this COVID-19, they no longer have access to their work, and for that matter, supporting their education becomes very difficult. So if they are coming back home, probably will not have money to cater for their own fares. So government should add some humanitarian phase to the entire exercise. So my view is that government, it's a good news that government is trying to evacuate Ghanaians back home, except that for some categories of Ghanaians, not only students, diplomats, so the A1, A2 visa holders.
But diplomats won't have to pay anything. I mean, they're still taken care of by the states. So
so I'm just saying
they won't have to, if they have to be evacuated, they won't have to. They won't have any financial obligations.
I'm just saying it for the avoidance of doubt. Yes, I'm just saying for the avoidance of doubt. So, and then security personnel, as we speak now, 700 Ghanaian police, I wouldn't want to use the word stranded, but as it stands now, they're in South Sudan. They were scheduled back home somewhere last month before the outbreak of the virus in South Sudan. As a result, they are still in South Sudan now. And about 269 former office men are also in South Sudan. So government can also take action to bring these people back home. Now, in the case of Bishop John, what could be done for persons who are in the same situation like him now is for government to help push for the extension of their visas. Like he said he went for just a conference, and then the virus broke out, and then the South African borders was closed. Now, it's possible that his visa may have expired.
But then there's this is an evacuation, so certainly there has to be a diplomatic arrangement between within which people who are stranded there like him can be brought back to their country.
Of course, I'm even looking beyond the evacuation.
Okay.
Now, what if his visa expires and then he's evacuated back home? Do you know what that means in terms of immigration when he wants to go back to South Africa? And I'm happy that the South African Foreign Ministry has now nullified the Form 20 for persons who are in the same category like Bishop John. The Form 20 only means the letter of good cause, that when you overstay your visa in South Africa and you are returning to South Africa, you need to provide a Form 20 to show that you have not been declared as undesirable. So I'm happy that the South African government have put away the Form 20. So Ghana must move in that direction to kind of use diplomatic relations to help people who are in the same category like Bishop John. And away from South Africa, the extension of visa fees in the US is $455, which includes $88 for biometric. So Ghanaians who have also overstayed their visa, and I use this advisedly because in the US you may have a valid visa but you'll be out of status. The US visa only allows you to move from Ghana to the airport in the US. When you get to the airport, then you get your status to enter the US. So those probably who have overstayed their status and probably have an expired visa, who probably will not be able to come back to Ghana now, what government can do for them as a plan B is to help them in extending their visa so that when anytime they come back, going back to the US or South Africa or any other part of the world, they will not have immigration issues. Okay.
Very interesting. Hopefully this works for people who are stranded outside the country, and hopefully you find your way back. Mr. Kuto, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us on this one. Unless you have any final words, we'll call it a day on that. Do you have any final words on this?
Not too much. I'm just saying that it's a welcoming news. The government has decided to evacuate Ghanaians back home. And it's also very refreshing to hear that the taxpayers' money will not be used for this exercise. For example, the UK had their citizens paying £500 each. So it's good that Ghanaians will be paying for their fares. However, there are some categories of Ghanaians that government will have to reconsider. For example, students, of course, diplomats, and then people who do not have the means. Now, for people who do not have the means, what government can also do is to let them sign a promissory note. So government will take care of the cost now, but they will sign a promissory note, which is a legal commitment that in future they will reimburse the Ghanaian government. Well,
when we get the chance to talk to the authorities, we'll ask them whether this is an option for them, whether they're willing to fund, pre-finance this for those who can't afford it and get the monies paid back. We'll see how that goes. Thank you very much. I've been talking to Wonder Kuto. He's Wonder Victor Kuto. He's an immigration expert helping us with some analysis there.